welcome back to the Maize Plus Pig Farmer, and today we're going to get the sugar beet harvested along with a bunch of other stuff. So not going to show too much of the sugar beet harvesting, although looking at the time cues that I've got in front of me, actually it's a reasonable chunk of the video, it turns out. So yeah, big field, small harvester, took me quite a while. Used Courseplay for some of it to let me do carting while beet harvested beet. Worked out my problem with Courseplay, because I had the same problem with the beet harvester that I've been having with the tractor about it, saying that the fuel tank was empty. I played about with the minimum fuel and repair settings, and I changed them from 100%, which should mean ignore, to 90%, and it worked. And then I changed them back to 100% and it worked again. So I don't know, maybe it got itself stuck in some sort of weird state, but yeah, that seemed to make it work just fine. So, but yeah, I used Courseplay for some of it because I realized this was going to take a really long time, particularly with needing to cart as well. And it's easier to put the harvester on Courseplay than try and get auto drive to cart and wait for auto drive and stuff like that. So yeah. But the other things that we're going to be looking at today, brewer's grain silo. I'm going to get that put in on the map. Going to be progressing to the point where we're going to be taking some more of the pigs to the butcher. Going to get the pellet production put in. Should have probably seen from the thumbnail. And yeah, just generally progressing towards the point where we can start selling the pork and making some money. So that'll be good. Yet again, there is no major spreadsheet update in this video because I want to get to I wanted to get to the end of December at least, or the beginning of January, but I realized that I'd already recorded quite a lot of footage and I wasn't there. So that'll be in the next video. The next video will get through January into February, which is when we can sell the pork, so it's going to be pretty good. But what I have done is, once we've done this harvest, I've worked out how many pigs I think we can support into next year, because obviously this time we had 6 breeding sows, which wasn't that many, but I think this time with how we've changed the feeding, we can do a lot more than that. Yeah, we'll have a look at that a bit later on. But yeah, no big update on the finances again this week, so you have to hold your breath with excitement until next week, other than the fact that, yeah, I guess we've not paid any of the loan off, and you'll see later the money does go up a bit, it goes back down a bit, but we gain an asset. So yeah, so it's Sunday afternoon. It's becoming a tradition. Well, is it really a tradition when I've done like 3 or 4 of them like this, where I record this commentary on a Sunday afternoon, and it's also becoming a tradition for the dogs to be a complete pain in the butt while I do it. And but yeah, I managed 3 whole minutes before they all got up and started being super annoying, so I have to stop, work out where I was, and start again. Yeah. Anyway, we are clearly a long way through the harvest. I did a pretty massive jump cut, obviously, because I wanted to show some of the other stuff that I wanted to get done in this video. I want to keep this series progressing relatively rapidly. I know some of you want to see all the farming, but this is to some extent more about trying to progress through and seeing how we get on. So yeah, a bit different to how I would normally do things. I would normally quite happily make an entire video of me just sat using my favorite root crop harvester. Really random segue, sidetrack. Really hope this gets converted to FS25, although I think the model's getting quite long in the tooth. I don't know what standard of model this is, Maybe someone who's a good modder could do a fresh one of it. That would be cool, wouldn't it? But yeah, I've used this in all versions of Farm Sim that I've played, which is only 2. I only played 19 and 22, but yeah, it's been a reoccurring favourite since I found it on very early in playing FS19. Actually, it was on my Sandy Bay Let's Play, I think. I was looking back at old videos over the weekend, and we last Saturday, so the 6th, was 4 years of me making Farm Sim videos, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, there's been a lot of them. There's been an awful lot of them. So, I don't know if any of you ever watched that very first video. It was awful. It was truly awful. Come a long way, but yeah. There, 416,000, I think it was. I can check again because I have some pictures saved. 416,000 litres we've got. I think we had about 99,000 saved. So yeah, about 317,000 litres of sugar beets off that field, which is a heck of a lot. And way more than we need. So yeah, way more than we need. So what am I checking here? I think I'm looking to see if I need to put manure through the BGA. Already done that. So now just checking whether I sold the electric charge. I did. Well done me. So the next job is to get some brewer's grain. You'll notice this is a kind of a weird location for it. I didn't want to have it on our farm, so I actually wanted to place it at one of the sell points, but all of the sell points are not on buyable land. So I've done the next best thing, and I've placed it at one of the other farms. Just go with it, okay? Just go with it. It means we've got to drive somewhere to buy it, which is, yeah, I prefer that rather than just backing it, having it on the farm and backing it, and we're good. And yeah, the land for all of the sell points is not buyable, so couldn't do anything with that. So it's here. And the really cool thing is the brewer's grain is really cheap. It's about £100 per 1,000 litres, which is, yeah, obviously canola's worth way more than that. Canola we're looking at selling at about £1,300 per 1,000 litres. So yeah, that's going to scale up massively. Much better exchange on how much feed we're going to be able to get. So yeah, not really worried about how much of that food group that we need for however many pigs we decide to keep. So that's kind of cool. I think we've got 30,000 litres of canola, so we're looking at making, 30,000 pounds ish. So yeah, what's that? 300,000 litres plus we could buy if we'd spent just that money on brewer's grain. So yeah, we're good doing just the straight conversion of canola into brewer's grain. So not that that's really how it's going to work. I had flying and player speed on so that I could just whiz across the map and find a suitable spot to put in that brewer's grain silo. And I was just checking the capacity of the pig's feed to see if I dump all of this in or put it in our silo. I decided just to dump it all in. And I'm not going to put all of the feed in like I did last time. I'm just going to add sort of a trailer full at a time as we go, basically. Speaking of canola, the price is not the best. So it says max price would be $13.13, which is what it was showing before, I think, when I set up simple triggers. But when I look in here, we're looking at a best price of $12.34. So I am going to sell it at this price. It might not be the best price, but it's a good price. And it means we'll have some cash so that we can put in the pellet production. And that's a good thing, because that food group is getting a bit low into the next month. So I'd rather sell it at a good price than hold out and miss the best price. It's kind of my view. Yeah, and actually the sell point that we're going to is where I wanted to put the brewer's grain buy point, but I couldn't because you can't make that land owned to be able to put stuff on. And there doesn't seem to be, well, I only looked on ModHub because I tend to get mods mostly from ModHub these days. Place Anywhere doesn't seem to be a thing anymore because the game sort of has that, but not really. So, yeah. I think Place Anywhere exists on some less reputable sites, maybe, but yeah, these days I tend to get my mods from ModHub or like GitHubs. Tend to not even use King mods anymore because that got a bit sketchy. Right, so first trailer load, £16,000. So we've got 2 full trailer loads. That's going to be £32,000. So, yeah, it's a nice bit of income, isn't it? It's more than we're making from the pigs at the moment. Won't be doing any more cash crops, so because I think that kind of dilutes the purpose of doing this. But this was kind of a audience voted switch in how we do the feeding, so I'm okay with it. 32,000 ish so far, plus 7, so what, 39 grand? It's pretty nice. I'll do the actual numbers when I do the spreadsheet update, but about 39 grand, which is pretty good. Need to do the manure into the BGA. So I tend to do that first of the month, manure and slurry, and we've had more piglets, so we've had another 30 piglets. Those sows will be going off to the butchers, along with 2 of the sows that I'd kept back from the other 3 didn't get pregnant, so those will be going as well. It's not worth, it's probably, yeah, it's better value rather than holding them for another month. It's probably, I think it's better value to butcher them because there's so much more meat on them, that and lose a month on the breeding cycle and have one of the younger ones breed next month, then wait to see if they get pregnant this time. So yeah, that's the plan. So we'll be taking 5 of the older sows to the butcher and turning them into very, very expensive pork. I guess it's because they're from these, you know, very nicely bred black pied pigs. Clearly why they're, you know, like £25 a kilo for the pork meat that comes out of them. Again, it's how the mod is set up, so that's how we're using it. The whole thing with this series has been I'm using mods as they're set up rather than, you know, tweaking them and that kind of thing. I'm kind of glad that the pellet production that we're going to be using I actually set up relatively sanely. I think it's going to produce a reasonable amount of pellets each month, certainly enough. I can't remember, one of you did comment on how much it produces per month, and I think even in our worst months in the future it's going to be way more than we need. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with how much we're going to be producing, so yeah, that should be fine. I'm just trying to find actually the right picture. I don't know if I have it actually. I guess it's, what's that going to be? I'm trying to do the maths in my head. Yeah, we should be fine. We should be fine even with how we're scaling up. So, going to lease the animal trailer. I did think about using one of the animal sticks, which let you kind of simulate walking animals. between places, but I thought that seemed a bit mean, seeing as we're walking them to the butchers. So we got animal trailer, got the small one because we're only taking them backwards and forwards, so it's not far, so save money on leasing. And now's maybe a good time to drop in talking about the sums that I did. So I'll put the picture up on screen while we're delivering animals. So I'm taking those 5 sows, and then I'm going to skip ahead to December and take some of the other animals. So we'll take the ones that are the ones that we've been holding back to keep till 6 months old. So what I've done, hopefully this picture makes sense, is I've tried to work out for one sow how many piglets we've got, and then how much food the sow will eat, which is the 150, and then how much the piglets that are available will eat, which is those blocks of 600, 750, etc. So every 4 months the sow will produce a litter, which should be on average 10 piglets. So that's what the staggered blocks of 10 are, and then at 6 months old we sell them. Hopefully, yeah, I think I did 6. And then what I've done is I've taken a block of 12 months once we've got piglets, and that gives per sow with her piglets 18,000 litres of food per year. So what I've done is sum up the block that's in the kind of pinky colour. So that's like a rolling every 12 months. Once the sow is breeding, that's how much food her and her offspring will consume. So that's what I'm using. Hopefully I haven't made any massive mistakes in there. That's going a bit more in-depth than what I used before, which was basically one sow has a litter of 10 piglets every 6 months, and that's how much they eat. This is trying to do it a bit more advanced. So that's what I've based that off of. And then the next picture is how much food we've got. So we've got 416,000 litres of sugar beets. That's going to turn into 208,000 litres of beet pellets. Brewer's grain, we're just going to buy the amount we need. We've got 40,000 litres of maize and 11,000 litres of wheat, so about 52,000 litres of the Group 2 feed. And we've got 152,000 litres of the moisture food, so way more than we're ever going to need. And then splitting up the 18,000 litres across the percentages, we need per piglet, per sow, and her offspring, 7,200 litres of Group 1, 5,400 litres of Group 2, 3,600 litres of Group 3, and 1,800 litres of Group 4. So then what I've done is the amount we have divided by each of those numbers, and the smallest one is for the wheat and maize. So that gives us 14.4. So I'm going to keep 14 of the 6-month-old sows, about to be sows that we've got, to breed through next year. So we're going from 6 to 14. So a lot more piglets, a lot more offspring, a lot more potential income. So that's the kind of the maths and the plan for next year. Hopefully that sort of made sense. So we're going to take all of the boars, so all of the 6-month-old boars are going to go to the butchers, and I think I end up taking 18 of the sows. So we're keeping 14 back. That means we've got 1 extra litter because we've got that 1 sow that we kept as well. So hopefully the feeding will work out okay. And that's where the point crash count, hopefully you're not here for good driving, that's where then that 0.4 is giving us that bit of leeway. And then again at the end of, if we keep going at the end of the year, we'll redo the calculation I might plant, because we've got a lot of beets and a lot of moisture food, and our limiting factor is the wheat and maize group. I might make sure that I might grow more of that group. I might plant extra. I know we've planted wheat this year, and the plan was to grow. Oh, where's me post-it note? I haven't done any fields. So the plan was to plant. I haven't written it down. But we were planning to plant. Actually, we were planning to plant corn in the field that we've just done. It's going to give us a heck of a lot of maize. Plus, we've got the wheat. So actually, would be pretty good. So yeah, actually, I think next year we might even be able to scale up even more. Like, that'd be really cool if we can. Because if we do the field that we had corn in this year as beets, that'll give us some beets for pellets. The field next to us on the left as maize, that'll give us loads of maize. We've got wheat. We'll do the 2 small fields of carrots again, just in case. And yeah, I think that'll be good. I think that'll work. If we keep going, which we might, because I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying the experiment, basically, of how this is working. I'm really hoping that when we sell all this pork, I can get another tractor, because it would be really nice to be able to be, for example, having some of the fields that need ploughing being ploughed while I'm doing this job. Yeah, so I think that's all of the pigs delivered. Yeah, so we've kept the 14 sows. And we've got that one, which is now 2 of the 4 months through the breeding cycle. So once that one's had its litter, they're going to go off to the butchers as well. Just thinking we might just hit the point where we still get a good price as well for the meat on there. So that'd be cool. So yeah, we can return the trailer now because we're not going to need it again for a while. Pork production's running. So I think the next job is to put in the pellet production. Because we don't want to really get behind on that. So it's not the fastest production in the world. So it's something that I need to keep running pretty continuously, I think. So yeah, and we're going to put it here. I already kind of screwed up the end of this field anyway, dropping the PGA in. So, and it seems like a sensible spot where it's not really going to impact our farmable land too much. Yeah. So this is another mod by me, which means it's a very reasonable price to build. 30 grand for a building is maybe a bit cheap, but hey, it wasn't done with the intent of this series, so we're using it as it is. As I said, I guess the limitation we've got is it's not the fastest production in the world, so we're using it as it comes and as it works. So I just need to work out where to level the ground off, and we're going to do a bit of painting as well, and end up doing a bit of smoothing and stuff as well, just to make things a bit nicer. Probably need to do a little bit more work, but I'm not a big fan of doing stuff in build mode. I wonder actually with FS22 coming whether they're going to have significantly changed the build mode. I doubt it. I don't know. And I guess the biggest thing that I would like, and I think it's quite hard for them to do, is undo feature. But I get that that's quite hard because saving the previous terrain state is non-trivial, I think. And obviously the best way to deal with that is save the game before you do stuff and turn off autosave before you go in. Yeah, there we go. That'll do. If you're curious, this is based on the base game Spinnery, because I don't do 3D modeling. Yeah. If you're wondering why it looks familiar, that's why it looks familiar. It's the base game Spinnery with the Spinnery signs removed and some silos added. Yeah, we'll just do a little bit of tidying of the terrain. I should really do some stuff around the front of the BGA as well. But so I guess even with placing the building down, we are a few grand up profit-wise, which is good. And we've got a lot of meat sat waiting to be sold once that's processed. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the finances look once we get into that. It should be quite cool. I'm wondering if, because we've taken some of the more mature pigs, which have a lot more meat on them, if we're actually going to be to the point where our financial situation is close to the £1.5 million seed fund we had. That would be good. Would really like to get the loan paid off as soon as we can, because we're paying interest on it, which is, not great. But as I said, I would like to pick up a second tractor, particularly given the issues this one has with the 3-point. The other thing I'm seriously considering doing, because it's dead kit, is selling off that windrower, because I brought it not really thinking about the fact that we don't do grass work, and it's pretty pointless windrowing behind the combine, because it defeats the purpose, because we only gather 2 straw swaths, and then we have to go around with the baler, so we go around twice to do the same amount. It's the same amount of work is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, probably going to sell that, and that'll give us some money towards the new tractor. We need to get some pallet forks, because we need to put molasses in here, and I'm going to buy the IBCs of molasses that come with MAIZEplus. So yeah, so as part of the creation of the beet pellets, molasses is used. It's used in the real world, so it's used in this production. It's my nod to realism. Doesn't use very much, but it uses a little bit. I guess it makes them a bit of a sweet treat for the animals, encourages them to eat it. Yeah, so it's just looking at the amount. So we're going to use about 2,800 litres a month. So I'm going to need to put in like 3 IBCs a month, which is a reasonable amount of cash, actually. So that's a thing. But that's okay. It's okay. Yeah, we should be okay. Once we sold the pork, we might buy the year's worth of molasses so that I don't end up short of cash. Although with more pigs producing more manure, it might be that the BGA helps pay to keep that production running. Yeah. Because the problem is that we're only going to be selling pork probably once a year, or maybe twice, because I think there was another point in the year where the price was okay, or good but not great. So yeah, it might be that we only have a couple of points in the year where we get income, which is what it is. I'd say thank you to patrons and the YouTube channel members at this point. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. You are all awesome. And also wanted to say, if you're thinking about picking up FS25, think about using my Giants partner code. I am so close to bronze partner. Been sat right on the verge of it since about Thursday of last week. So yeah, it'd be really cool if few of you could just nudge me over the edge. That would be awesome. Let's get these in, and then we're just about done, because as I said, I realised I'd accumulated quite a lot of footage at this point, and so it wasn't going to be able to push through as far as I thought through the year. So we'll be back next time with hopefully a really nice injection of cash from selling a whole ton of pork. Or not a ton, but you know, a decent amount of pork. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys and girls. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, click the like button. Any comments, questions, suggestions, thoughts, recommendations for a reasonably priced tractor, stick them below, and I'll see you next time.